John Shagnon, PCS Outdoors. Last couple days we caught 3 snapping turtles. My partners Sherry and Scott. Sherry got the largest one. It was actually her first snapping turtle that she caught herself. She's cooked them before, and measurements were like 15 or 16 inches on the different measurements on the turtle. In a second here we'll do a zoom in and you can see where the back strap was taken out of this turtle that we cleaned a couple days ago, whereas the other one still has the back strap in it that we cleaned today. What I have here is contents of 3 turtles, and we're going to make fried turtle and turtle soup. First turtle I ever got, I think I was 7 years old and had to drag him across the farm field while I was frog hunting. And while I'm out turtle trapping, it's no different than when I was 7 years old today. When I'm a little bit older, I'm still looking for muskrat and beaver and mink signs along the creek, streams, and ponds. And while I'm doing that, I'm checking turtle traps and catching bullfrogs. Today we have a guest coming over in his 70s that's a longtime turtle trapper that we've invited to try my fried turtle and turtle soup. So the critics will be out today. But we sell a lot of turtle traps, and I have for 20 years. And should have done this video a long time ago. I'm glad I did it now because a lot of people ask how to cook turtle soup and what to do with the turtles after they remove them from the thousands of farm ponds and ponds in suburbia, where people discover that these big snapping turtles take away the ducks and eat the fish and a lot of other items. They, most states now, and it's a good thing, have size requirements on the turtles and restrict the harvest, and I'm familiar with the state that I trap in, and I'm glad we do, and I hope other states follow so future generations can continue to harvest these turtles. And I'm not sure on the exact age that it takes time, how old these turtles are, but I've heard they can live as much as 100 years, and I know for a fact they're 20 years old. They're a valuable resource and part of nature, and a lot of them are removed and wasted. Hopefully some people will see this video, and when they do remove the turtles, they enjoy practically this will probably be the best dinner I have all summer long. It's healthy. I'm going to show taking off some of the remaining fat and drizzle, and like anything, the quality ingredients that we put in for the fine fare that will come out afterwards. Just like the traps and equipment we use to make sure it's quality for catching the items, we want to use quality ingredients and cooking utensils and pots and pans, and I'll explain some of that. But I'll have Summer zero in, if she will. Of course, I got my Roadkill coffee cup. But once we remove some of this yellow fat and any tendons, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of meat from 3 good-sized turtles, and this will feed, I don't know how many people are going to be at dinner, 7 people tonight. And of course there's a couple that think they're not going to eat turtle, but I'm pretty confident once they try a little taste, we're going to have some new turtle followers. There's 2 types of soup. One's usually a cream base like clam chowder, and the other's like a beef soup or a chicken soup on a liquid base, and what I'm going to show today is turtle clam chowder. But it can be made either way, and it's absolutely wonderful. There's several different types of meat. I've heard anywhere's up to 7, but there's definitely a dark meat and a light meat, and variations in between, and basically it's all good. For the soup, I'll use either the neck portions or the pelvic areas of the turtle, anything that has more bones, and I'll keep the meaty back and front legs for the fried turtle. What's going to happen when we go through is we're going to use a Teflon frying pan, olive oil, and we're going to get the olive oil hot, and we're going to lightly bread in flour and some seasoning the turtle meat and brown it real good. Then we will simmer it for hours inside of this roaster until it's tender. Some folks may parboil it, and you're going to lose the flavor of the turtle. So I prefer to seal it in with frying it in olive oil and lightly breaded. Then I simmer it for hours in a slow cooker so that it's absolutely tender, retaining all the great flavor that the snapping turtle has. For the soup, likewise, we always use a Teflon coated pan, and we'll sear the turtle meat in olive oil with no flour before we boil the turtle to make it tender. Then we'll go through the process, but we'll slow down and show both the fried turtle being fried and the turtle soup being prepared. The backstrap I was talking about, just like a cow or a deer has a tenderloin, inside the turtle there's 2 strips of meat in here, and it's probably the best piece of meat on a snapping turtle. So it may be difficult to get out, but definitely worth the time. You would not want to take one of those out of a turtle. Yeah, it's real important that you get all the yellow fat. This turtle was soaked overnight in salt, cold water, and kept in the refrigerator. It helps draw all the blood out. Then we rinse it out one time in between to put some fresh water. And any skin or blood or grizzle is literally cut off, so the meat is extremely clean and no fat. Very lean meat once you take all the fat off. Turtle skin wouldn't be good either, so that's the neck. It's actually one of my favorite parts. It's really got some nice white meat and tasty stuff. Turtle meat absolutely has no smell to it whatsoever, but very tasty. You can kind of see these little pieces of yellow fat that I'm cutting off. There was a lot more on the turtle when we first skinned it and stuff, but we take off any remaining. Usually we're cleaning these kind of late at night because we work during the day like most folks, and check traps after work. This is a front leg, I believe, and this will be one of the pieces that is actually going to be fried. Using a sharp Rapella knife, same thing I use for filleting, Rapella filleting knife. Try to show you some other pieces here. This one appears to be a back leg. And you can see there's just large chunks of meat. I don't think most folks realize how much meat is on one turtle. That's just 3 turtles there, and there's plenty enough turtle meat for fried turtle and bowl of turtle soup for everybody. The legs tend to be on the dark meat side, where the neck is kind of a white meat. When we're cleaning out the shell, any piece of meat is cut out and nothing goes to waste. Trying to find one of the backstrap pieces. Oh, there we go. These are pieces of the backstrap, the loin that I was showing where it come out of the shell. This is the absolute best couple pieces of meat that comes out of a turtle. I kind of keep those to the side of the pan when we're cooking them so I get them on my plate. Hopefully everybody else just grabs for the big pieces. Either way, it's all good. This is the tail, and this will be actually what we use in the soup, because we can, after it boils down, we can break it off and get all the meat off the bones. And I would be pretty much willing to wager if we put a bowl of clam chowder and a bowl of this chicken or turtle soup that I'm making today, everybody would ask for a second bowl of turtle soup and they'd probably never eat clam chowder again. But we'll find out tonight when everybody gives it a try. Clam chowder is pretty good, but turtle soup's much better, especially when you follow the recipe. I don't measure much. I'm kind of a taste cook, so I'll put a little Lowry's, some fresh garlic. I've got to put fresh garlic in everything, not this processed stuff. We do use a little bit of chicken base for flavor in the turtle soup. The fried turtle is pretty much just a little seasoning, salt, and the flavor of it. The turtle itself is what we're after, and cooking it to the proper tendency by frying it and searing the flavors inside, and then steaming it so that it turns tender and retains the flavor. Alright, our turtle is all clean. We've got it all cut into portion sized pieces, and boy is this turtle meaty. I've got my olive oil hot on the stove, and I've decided to cook it without even flour. We're going to try to be health conscious, and we're just going to brown it. As you can hear it searing, that's what we want. Turn it down a little bit. We're not cooking it all the way through. We're just going to brown it and sear it to keep the flavors in. And it'll cook literally a couple hours in the slow cooker. Those neck portions are really meaty. Got a lot of turtle there, so I'm going to get another pan going. Just cover the bottom with some olive oil. Now, if you zoom in here, we put a couple pieces of turtle in there, and all the pieces of chunks of meat that fell off when we were cubing them up. So, same time we're getting our fried turtle, we're going to have a nice big pot of turtle soup. Get my olive oil hot there. Get my next pan going. Use a little bit of seasoning. I'm just using some Lowry salt. Good old pepper. Gotta have pepper, just like the garlic. I put a little bit of liquid in it, separated by a rack that we put in the roaster to slow cook it, and that's where we're going to drop the garlic so it gets the flavor. So we're going to cube up some garlic. A lot of pepper. Pretty simple, but good stuff. And by the time I got that in, the other grease should, or olive oil should be hot. Cut a neck in half there to make more easier portions. And that's already hot too. No need for a lid or nothing, this is just the brown. After it browns on the one side, we'll brown it on the other side and it's ready to be dropped into the roaster. That piece doesn't look real meaty, so I'm gonna throw it in my soup. So that way once the turtle boils for about an hour, then we'll take all the meat off the bones, dice up the meat, and put it back in, and we'll show all the quality ingredients we put in. But first thing you gotta do is you gotta get the turtle tender inside the liquid. And got 2 frying pans full, and looks like I'll have a couple more frying pans. Turtle simmering in seasoning solution, and basically as soon as it gets tender, we're gonna bring it back over to the cutting board here and dice it up into clam-sized pieces for a turtle soup or turtle clam chowder. So before I just clean my cutting boards from cleaning up the turtle, so now I'm going to do all my vegetables for the soup and the garlic for the fried turtle. The garlic goes into the slow cooker for the seasoning when it's simmering to make it tender. The turtle's also browning right now. So what I'm going to do is chop up my vegetables, and for anybody that wants to see the right way to cut an onion, this is the trapper's way anyways. I use my Repellent flaying knife for just about everything, except when it comes time to chop a vegetable, you use a chef knife. And you cut your onion in half. You always want to make sure you keep your fingers, plus you don't want cuts. And you always keep your fingers away from the knife. Cut away from yourself all the time. And what I do is simply, that way the onion is nice and flat after I cut it in half. Then I make the slices as you can see. And this is the way a chef knife, you don't need all these fancy tools you see on TV, you just need a knife, nice sharp knife. Basically in 22 seconds we got a onion totally diced, ready for our soup. Cooking of this turtle soup is like any other cooking, and you got to put your ingredients in at the proper time. Main thing is when our turtle soup or turtle clam chowder comes into the bowls, everybody's gonna see the onions just cooked, the turtle nice and tender, and so you add your ingredients at different times. Same with the spices. So I showed you how I cut my onions for the soup. Now you can use a potato peeler. I just use my Repellent flaying knife. Same one that I skinned 1,000 muskrats with and a bunch of coons. Suppose I could do a muskrat stew this fall. See how everybody likes my turtle recipe first. Likewise, could have some water in my bowl, which I'll get, but might as well finish showing you how we dice the potato. Same way, cut it in half and make a couple like that, cuts. And then I make my chunks of potato just a little bit bigger. And I saute the onions before I throw it into the soup. The potatoes, I put them in the last 20 minutes before I thicken the soup. It's going to be a cream-based clam chowder. Oh, and the carrots. Now, we want everything to taste good, but I'm a strong believer for these folks that don't like to try things, you got to make stuff look absolutely scrumptious. So we just peel the carrot, and the last thing I put into my turtle soup is a bunch of these carrot shavings, and they're telling me I'm forgetting my cabbage. That was my secret. I wasn't going to let everybody know. So basically, give me that head of cabbage. I guess my battery's running kind of low, so just wanted to show that we put some cabbage into our turtle soup too. Okay, so that'll be our coloring in the soup. Make it look good. We're going to chop up half a head of cabbage for the soup because we like the flavor of cabbage in our soup. Of course, mushrooms, and this is basically celery, green peppers, red peppers, a bunch of diced up veggies that I didn't want to waste because we're going to be out of town or going out tomorrow to eat. So this is what we're going to use for our assorted vegetables for both flavor and color. Right now we're ready to we placed some garlic in the liquid, and we got the first 2 pans of turtle fried, browned on the outside. We've got about an inch of liquid in here with seasonings, and we're going to put our rack in so that the meat is going to be steamed but not boiled, so it retains the flavor. And get my fork. And we'll just start stacking that turtle up and brown the last 2 pans of turtle. Nice and brown, and it'll finish getting cooked in here and be nice and tender in about 2 hours. If you like fried chicken, you'll prefer fried turtle this way. Only difference is you gotta get out in outside in nature and do some tromping through the swamps and rivers. I don't know about other states, but the snapping turtles just about everywhere in Michigan if you got water. And these 3 turtles, we probably saved a couple baby Canadian geese and a whole pile of ducks and fish. So just doing responsible harvesting. Not to mention, my hopes are is people that catch these turtles out of the ponds either release them back into nature or make some fried turtle and turtle soup. We got our vegetables all cut up, and we got potatoes sitting in the water. Right now we're going to saute mushroom, onions, green peppers, yellow peppers, and the cabbage set to the side, and we'll show you when this gets put in. But while we're sauteing this, as soon as I clear up this cutting board, we're going to take the snapping turtle out of the pot where it's been simmering so that we can cool it off and get the meat cut off the bones. I always like to saute these particular vegetables, and they don't get put into the soup until the soup's almost done. Potatoes are already going to be just before soft, and that's when we'll add the vegetables and before we thicken the soup. So we'll get those sauteing, and Basically, it's time to take the turtle out so that it can cool, so we can cut the meat off the bones. And actually, once we get the meat cut off the bones, we're going to let it cook even a little bit more, so that make sure it's nice and tender. It's going to take about 15 minutes to cool. Kind of hot to the touch now, but keeping our broth. And basically, we're simply going to, as soon as this cools, take it off the bone. Okay, we have the turtle boiled. It's nice and tender, and as you can see, we pulled all the meat off the bones. Nice white bones left, and the meat's in little chunk-sized pieces. Because it's already tender, I'm going to throw potatoes and the turtle in at the same time. Just before the potatoes get tender, I'll be putting the cabbage in. The vegetables are already all sauteed. The secret to this recipe, turtle chowder, is to, when I put these ingredients in, I want the water to be just over while the potatoes are getting cooked and the rest of the items going in, being I want 50% of a milk base to go in to make the turtle chowder. So I'll carry these over and get the, now you may have to add a little water or take away a little water. But either way, we'll find that out when we get these items in. And it looks like it's going to be just perfect the way it is. No measuring, it just matters your ingredients. And basically, I still got the cabbage to go in, and you can see there's still some room in there. So we got a perfect pot of turtle chowder going. Now we'll get it cranked back up to a boil and simmer till these potatoes are half done. Throw the cabbage in, and then the sauteed vegetables. Then we're going to be ready to put some milk in. As soon as that milk comes to a boil, we'll have some cornstarch all mixed up in a bowl, and we'll get it to the consistency we want the soup to be on, or clam chowder, or turtle chowder. Now I'm turning the heat back up. All right, it takes about 3 cups of coffee in your roadkill cup to finish this recipe, but we're winding down. I've got my cornstarch. Some people prefer flour, but over the years this recipe got transferred to cornstarch. Why, I don't know, but I'm not going to try to make it different. That's how I make it. What we're going to do now is the potatoes are just starting to get ready to soften, so we're going to add the cabbage in. And as you can see, the liquid is going to be just enough liquid to cover everything between the steam going away, and all the vegetables and turtle and everything will be cooked, but it won't be mushy. It'll be just perfect consistency. There's been some additions to this recipes over the year from armadillos and rattlesnakes in Texas when I was a cook in the Army. So this is a recipe that stood the test of time. What we're going to do now is, as soon as the cabbage simmers for about 10 minutes and gets soft, we'll be finishing this turtle clam chowder, and we'll be putting in the sauteed vegetables and basically adding milk to bring the level up. And as soon as that milk comes to a boil, we'll add the carrots in approximately before when the sauteed vegetables come. But the final thing and the most important thing is not to scorch that milk. As soon as it comes to a simmer, you need to thicken it with your cornstarch or your flour, and immediately get it turned off and stir it constantly at that point, so there's no scorching, because that would ruin all this work that we did putting together these fine ingredients in the perfect timing. All right, we're coming down to the final couple minutes, and that's simply going to be all the ingredients are going to be put in at this point, and except the milk. As soon as the milk comes to a boil, that's when we're going to thicken it with the cornstarch. Now we're going to throw the carrots in because that's just for looks and a little bit of flavor. So we got Northern Michigan snapping turtle, potatoes, a whole bunch of vegetables, onions, green peppers, garlic, carrot, and cabbage. Now we're gonna put the milk in, and we got a large kettle for the 10 people that are coming to dinner to try fried turtle and turtle soup. And I'm just gonna stir it and see if it's the right consistency. Perfect. All right, a couple minutes that'll be simmering, and we'll get the cornstarch in and show you a bowl of turtle chowder. All right, we're down to the last minute. It just now started to take a simmer, and I'm re-stirring the cornstarch and water. You could use flour, and basically I'm going to stir it as it goes in constantly. And just from making it a lot of different times, I know the consistency I want, so I got the exact right amount of cornstarch. You may have to trial and error some. I'm going to let it stir it for about a minute here and let it simmer, but bottom line is just going to thicken a tiny bit. And you can see all those good ingredients in there. And we'll simply we've got a pot of turtle clam chowder. Same time, the fried turtle is simmering in this roaster, and we had it during this whole process of making the soup on high, in addition to browning it and frying it. Now we're going to put it down to just above 250, and it could take an hour yet, but once we can put a fork in there and it's nice and tender. But basically we have a wire rack down in the bottom, seasonings to put the flavor up into the meat. There was also seasonings put on when we fried the turtle. We'll be taking this out as soon as it's nice and tender. But it'll be definitely flavorful because we didn't parboil it, and I think that's the biggest mistake people make when they cook wild game. Lose all the natural flavor. And we'll have our final critic, the gentleman that's been catching turtle his whole life, and see if he likes our turtle soup and fried turtle in about an hour or two from now. Good. Okay, the fried turtle is done and it's very tender. As you can see, we got our pot of turtle soup here, and we're letting Mr. Wolverton, it's my friend that's in his 70s, and he's tried a lot of turtles and caught a lot of turtles. In fact, I got to thank him for letting us use a couple of turtle traps, because we had a couple I bought from PCS Outdoors, and we're going to see what he thinks about our turtle soup.
It's good too, but the fried turtle's the best. The soup's good.
Thank you, Mr. Wolverton. Now I can eat my dinner in peace now.
Sure.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay.